Hi guys! We have some crazy lighting right now, so I want to take advantage of it. I am gonna get started on my son's teacher gifts for back to school, or for the end of the school year. And I have a friend that ordered a few totes as well, so we're gonna do some teacher totes. Come with me as I cut them out and sew them and all the things.
Okay, so here we are cutting out the tote main part, the tote body of it. There is quite a lot of fabric here. That looks quite overwhelming, but I decided to cut out some totes for the vet techs and the vets at our vet clinic. I made a tote for a vet that moved a couple weeks ago, probably closer to a month, and she thought it was the greatest thing ever, and everybody thought it was so cute. So I know that I need to just make everybody their one. We love them. They're amazing. My dog is there like every other week with some sort of allergy, ear infection, UTI, you name it. She's becoming needier as she gets older. She's allergic to everything. It's a whole thing. She's like very high maintenance. We love her though. She's amazing. Anyway, so since I only have this like mobile cutting station, I don't have a table that I can just like leave my cutting board out or my cutting mat, and I don't really want to sit on the floor to do it. I get things out once, put it away once. It's a lot easier than getting things out over and over again. Every time I get it out, I try and get the most use out of it that I can before I have to put it away, because it is kind of a hassle to get everything out and put it away. So if you can see back in the closet back there, there's like a gift bag. I usually just prop the board up back there, and then my cutting mat just kind of slides in the side so that it doesn't get bent. And then everything else just kind of has its own little spot too. And I store a lot of my fabric back in that closet as well. So if there is enough of some of the fabrics, like these larger pieces, I do go back and I cut out multiple because I am going to be doing markets. But for right now, I think I just cut out one so that I had enough for the vet techs currently. And then I went back and I decided, like with this pink one, I think is when I started cutting out multiples. Like, why am I just cutting out one when I know that I have markets coming up soon and I'm going to want to be able to have a bunch of pre-made stuff and not be frantically sewing into the wee hours making these totes. So this one had enough to make 3. I cut out 3 of them. I am not going to be making 3 of them in this video, but I do have them prepped so that when I do have the time to get them done, they will already be ready to go. And I do love to, this is where my camera died on the colorful fronts, but we are cutting out some linings here, and this is a different day. I did cut out a bunch of the other solid colors. If you can see on the corner of the bed there, and then on the green table, I have a bunch of the solid colors already cut out. This is one that I had to purchase some more, and one that I had to find like a matching color, and I ended up just finding this cream color. With that, we decided to put all of the cutout pieces together. I didn't film all the others because my husband was sick. Now we're ironing. This is my favorite way to do the straps. I iron lengthwise, fold it in half, get a nice crease, and then it's really easy to fold the sides into the middle and make 2 more creases, kind of taco it together, clip it, and then it is so smooth going through the machine because everything is pre-pressed and I don't have to worry about adjusting the seams while I'm going. It gets really cumbersome that way. So this is my favorite way to get them done, and then I just go through and I quick iron the other pieces. I don't pre-iron before I cut things out because most of the fabric usually just only has this crease from being folded up in the packaging, or I mean, if it's crazy crinkled, yes, I will iron it before I cut things out, but these are called scrappy totes, so they are not, it's not super significant if there's like a crease in it is there when I cut it out. It's not going to adjust. It's not going to affect the bag too much. So I end up ironing about half of the bags right now, because as you can see, I'm ironing on my bed. So like my knees don't go under the bed. I have to like kind of straddle the bed and kind of sit at an angle. So my back doesn't do great doing that for a long period of time. And the iron just heats up the room really fast too. So I try and get assembly line style where I cut things out and then iron things and then sew. But sometimes it is a matter of this step is getting to be too much. I'll come back and do it again later and I'll move on to the next step. So I think in total I end up making probably a dozen bags for the teachers. So I've separated out all the teacher fabric and the vet fabric. I'm not ironing any of the vet fabric right now. It's all, well, except that pink one. But that was only because it was the only other gray one and I already had gray on my machine. So I was like, I'm just going to make the straps while I have the gray out and then I will assemble the bag later. But right now we will finish the straps and then we'll set them aside. So that's the exception. Everything else is assigned to a teacher or my friend ordered them for her son's teachers. So all of these are the ones that I'm going to finish up. Again, I think there's about a dozen of them. They are all, I think all of them have matching linings except the music teacher one because I didn't have enough gray, so I ended up putting a white lining inside. It was a light gray, so it worked out. These sewing clips are my favorite. They're so convenient, especially when you're just clipping the edges of something. If I'm sewing pockets onto the bags, like the inside lining, I use pins because it's a smaller piece onto a larger piece. But I do love the clips for the straps. They're also way kid friendly because they're just clips. So I can leave out pre-ironed straps, and if my kids come up and mess with them while I'm not in the room or paying attention, then they're not going to hurt themselves. They're not going to poke themselves. Worst case scenario, they take the clip off and I just re-clip it. It's super, super kid friendly. So yeah, definitely loving the clips. And then having everything pre-ironed, it moves through the machine so much nicer. So everything gets like a little iron, but the straps are the crucial part. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't spend as much time ironing before I make it to the sewing machine. I'm really not that precise. I could never be a quilter. I just wing things way too much.
Hi friends, I am getting back to it today. We had a crazy weekend. My husband was sick for a couple of days, so I didn't want to film with him sleeping in the background, and we were just really busy last week. So I am working on totes. I think I'm gonna limit it to teacher totes. So I got all the solids, and there's the dog. Yay! I got all the solid fabric choices cut out. As you saw, I got the colored stuff, the pattern stuff cut out. The solid stuff I got cut out while my husband was sick, so I didn't film any of that. And then I got some of the ironing done this morning, as you saw. So I'm gonna get started on the gray ones because I currently have gray on my sewing machine. So I'm gonna try and get some of that done, and then we'll have to keep changing thread and maybe take breaks and iron some more and then change thread and, you know, kind of do both.
Get my game.
I'm sorry, that stinks, buddy. But the toddlers just really want to be close today, and I have to get this video out tomorrow. So we're just gonna, and I need to get the teacher totes done because there's only 2 weeks of school left. So we're doing what we can with what we've got. So I'm probably gonna do voiceover for the rest of this, and we'll chat with you later.
Okay, so now we are doing some sewing. I have a Brother machine. My husband got it for me a few years ago. I do have a white machine that is essentially the first version of Brother. I think white got bought out by Brother out in my garage that's like as old as I am, which is the machine I learned to sew on. But I do like this new one. It has like some basic like embroidery options, but it gets the job done. I will say they don't make my model anymore. I don't love the thread on the back of the machine. We have had to replace that piece when we moved. It broke off, and it's hard to find a replacement piece because they don't make this machine anymore. So that has been kind of annoying, but we've made it work. I mean, my husband is like, loves a problem. He loves to solve problems for me. So as things come up, like I'm pretty good at solving problems as well. And I'm very familiar with the Brother brand. I used to work at a company that used all Brother machines, and I've gotten familiar with Brother technicians and kind of how they make their machines work. But all this to say, I'm pretty familiar with the brand, but my husband, it was throwing an error that I really just could not figure out. And he went down a YouTube rabbit hole, figured out what the problem was, took the machine apart, fixed it. It was awesome. So it is running smooth like butter right now and loving it. These straps take forever. So I am trying to get those out of the way and get as much done on the construction of these bags just quickly, like I do all of the same thread color, but then I'll do like the straps first, then the pocket, so that I know all the top stitching is going to match, and then I'll go through and I'll do the construction of it and then the top stitching at the end. So it's kind of assembly line situation. I don't do like the straps and then attach the straps and then XYZ. Like if I'm doing multiple totes at the same time, I'll do all the straps first, then all the pockets, then the linings, then the outside. So it just works better for me to work faster that way. I also wait to cut out the bottom notches on the bags until after I have sewn them together, because it makes it easier to line them up after I've sewn them together. If like a piece ends up being a little bit large from cutting it out, then I can adjust it a little bit. See, like this music one is a little bit longer than the gray part, so then I know this seam has to be a little farther in, so my notches I can do accordingly. Otherwise, it's pretty self-explanatory. So I hope you enjoy just watching a sped up version of sewing. I wish it was this fast. I wish that I could sew a tote in 4 minutes, but it is indeed a much slower process, and so much of it is cutting and ironing and not actually sewing. That's the thing they don't tell you when you learn how to sew, is how little of it is actually using the sewing machine. There's so much more that goes into it. Oh, see these clips again come in clutch for the straps, because then I don't have to worry about puncturing 5 layers of fabric for these straps to like hook them onto the outside of the bag. The clip does a beautiful job. Easy to clip on, easy to take off, easy to just leave out in a bowl on my desk so that my kids, if they happen to get into them, are not going to get injured. So if you don't have sewing clips, get sewing clips.
Okay, I ran out of bobbin threads, so now feels like a good time to pause filming and get some construction, all that stuff done without fear of my kids ruining my footage. I just dropped the bobbin. Also, my chair broke. So I'm sitting on it like a stool. It doesn't have a back. We did order a new one. It won't be here till Friday. So fingers crossed it comes early. We opted for a fancy schmancy one that has like a little bit taller of a back and has like a massage and heat feature, which will be nice. Because I have like chronic back pain and hip pain. So sitting for long periods of time is not the greatest for me. Basically doing anything for too long is not the greatest. I have scoliosis and shallow hips, so it's a whole structural thing. It's not anything that like is treatable. Anyway, so I'm gonna get some sewing done. I will come back when I have some completed bags to show you and see how much time we've got to finish up some bags today. This might be a 2-part video. I don't know. We'll see. But thanks for sticking it out and just listening to me talk over sped up footage. Okay, so I've gotten quite a bit of sewing done. It is 6 o'clock. I am solo parenting tonight, so we just finished an early dinner. I'm gonna let the boys play a game for a little while, and then I might try, I told my oldest I would give him a haircut, but I just am kind of stressing about these bags, so I think I might work on them tonight and do the haircut tomorrow after this video is done. He just, I don't know if you could see him, but he just snuck in the doorway asking if he could play Minecraft. I told him if he went really fast getting ready for bed, that he could play Minecraft for a little while before bed because it's early. I don't know what time my husband's getting home. He is on a film project right now. Those days can run long. They can just all of a sudden have a hard out and like they have to leave the location because they have like a hard, like we close at 6, you have to be gone situation. I did get quite a bit of sewing done. So I got all the straps, which actually take the longest because they have 3 seams. So, and they're long. So I got all the straps done and the color changing and all of that. So I really just have construction left on a few of them. Well, all the ones that I got ironed earlier. So I think I might just finish those up tonight, wrap up this video, and then maybe if you guys like it, I'll film more tote bags because I have some more school ones and I have some vet ones. They're all like dogs and cats. I made one for our vet that moved locations a couple months ago, and all the girls that work there were like, I want some too. Oh. Kids, man. Anyway, so I have a bunch of those pre-cut, ready to go. I have a lot of doubles done too. Okay, sorry. Argument ensued. I don't know how much more sewing I'm going to get done. Also, because the back of my chair is broken, my back is kind of hurting a little bit, and so I don't think I'm going to get much more filming done. Hopefully I'll get the totes done, but I think I need to go hang out in the living room with my kids for a little bit until bedtime, put them to bed, and then try and finish up. Maybe I'll hear from my husband by then that he's wrapping up and on his way home. So I will check in with you after I get some more sewing done. My 3-year-old keeps bopping in and out, so it's really hard to get footage without him in it. So I will catch you probably after they go to bed. Bye. Hello, my friends. So because it is already Tuesday and this is normally the day that I upload, so we're gonna upload a day late, and I don't have all the totes done, I am gonna stop here. I did finish 2 football ones. One is going to my son's gym teacher. And then the other one I am going to offer as an option for my friend, but I also know that it'll be fine for markets. So we're gonna call 2 done. And then I've got a colorful one and his art teacher's tote. I just have to sew the linings in. But I just ran out of bobbin thread, so I have to figure out if I want to change colors, because I'm probably gonna have to change colors for the top edge. I do this like top edge seam to secure everything, and so because I used brown straps and a brown base, I just stuck with brown on this one. But I did orange for these totes, and I think orange thread might stick out a lot on this pattern, so I might do purple for this one and maybe black for this one, or maybe black for both. I think that would blend in just fine. So I'm gonna debate that, mull that over. The other totes, I have a vet tote and a music teacher tote cut out. So this is the side panel. I just have to finish attaching them and put in the lining. This is, yeah, for his music teacher. It's really cool. And I did have doubles of those, but they were the only ones that I had with gray. So I wanted to do all the straps at the same time because the strap seam is super visible. So it's more important that you match the strap seam than like the inside seams that aren't going to be visible. So I have 4 more from the initial first ironing session to finish sewing up. Also, it's been really hard to motivate myself to sew without a back to my chair, because when I sit back to clip things or pin things for putting in the machine, I don't have any respite. Anyway, that's the chair's coming Friday. Next week is the last week of school, so there's going to be a part 2. So stick around. I will post a part 2, and we will be all caught up in kosher. I did go to the craft store today to see if they had any matching gray, because I'm pretty sure I got this gray at Joann's before they closed, and Walmart didn't have any pre-cut pieces that matched, and I didn't see any at Michael's that matched, but I did pick up some yarn. So I'm really excited to get back to crocheting, but I really do need to get these totes done, and I have a whole stack. Let's see. This is the stack of school ones. I mean, there's a few that are for me, a few that are for a friend, a few that are doubles. So I need to get this stack for sure done. And then I have a whole stack of pet totes that I've got, at least a dozen, because there's about a dozen people that work at my vet clinic. So I would love to show them some love. And then all the doubles are just going to go in my stock for markets. So I do have quite a few like back stock. It's going to get me some inventory. But we'll for sure finish the the teacher totes in the next video. And hopefully we'll get some other progress done, but thanks for sticking around. Sorry we didn't get a complete image of all of the ones that I finished, but we stick around for part 2 and you will absolutely get that. And we'll get to put together a cute new office chair, craft sewing chair, and we will have probably plans for a few more upcoming projects. So I will see you next week. Thanks for sticking with me, and I will catch you in the next one.